I think more than anything, it's they like when you're just yourself. They like when you sing about things you're actually going through, or if you know somebody who actually went through something, they can tell when it's real and when it's you, and they can tell when it's probably not the most authentic thing. Like I can't. Every time I try to sing a breakup song, nothing doesn't work because they don't buy it because I spent a year promoting my wedding song. Hey, this is Cooper Allen, and this is Sound Advice.
Thank you for joining us today. Appreciate you taking the time. I want to talk a little bit about your recent release, Holy Ghost. The song touches on themes of devotion, spirituality, redemption. What was your inspiration behind creating this song? And can you just share about the process of how this came together, this particular record?
Absolutely, this is one of my favorites. My wife Hallie is she's my rock, incredibly. We've known each other for such a long time and just have developed such an incredible friendship and relationship. And I think when you find that right person you're meant to be with, they make you the best version of yourself. They make you the person that you want and need to be. And for me, that kind of means, you know, drawing closer to God, drawing closer to faith and scripture and spirituality. Um, and Hallie's just been the greatest influence on me in that field, and just kind of walking with me through it and being such an example of of how to live and how to be. So that's kind of tried to fit all that in a song. It's a love song and it's a God song.
So this year continues to be a momentous year for you. You launched the Cooper Allen Foundation that advocates for mental health awareness, providing resources. What motivated you to create this foundation, and what was the inspiration behind choosing this initiative in particular?
Yeah, I'd always wanted to do some sort of foundation, some sort of way to give back. That was always kind of high on the priority list. I always thought you got to be like, you know, X amount of successful. You got to be doing arenas. You got to be, a bigger deal than I'm currently to kind of make an impact in that way. But I got a call from my mom. This was February last year, and she was just like, you know what? I've kind of been having a call in the past couple weeks. Me and your dad have talked about it, and we kind of think it's you know, the best time is now to start something and see kind of what happens with it and start it small and see how it can grow and see how it can be something as the years go on. So that was kind of the inception of everything. I chose mental health because that's something that's been pretty important and near and dear to me over the years. Been seeing a therapist since college, just anxiety, all that stuff, and it's just a really, really important thing to take care of. And I think so many people, you know, in music, there's a lot of it, but it's really everywhere, and that struggle is kind of everywhere. And so, if we could bring a little bit of it to light and talk about it and make it a little more normal to talk about, but really, raise some money to try to put it somewhere that can really help people in a meaningful way. That was kind of the goal. We had our first event this year, raised like $400,000 for this awesome mental health facility in Charlotte called Hopeway, and we're already planning the next event. So my goal is to one day build one of those, a center like Hopeway somewhere that needs it. That's just kind of a full scale mental health facility that can help as many people as possible.
I love that. I think that conversation piece is so important because it does feel so stigmatized sometimes that I'm glad you didn't wait because now people can look up to you and say, hey, like, he's doing it. I feel more comfortable. And I think that is such a critical piece. And within the music community, as you touched on, it can be a prevalent thing. And you mentioned your launch event that Walker Hayes was also a part of. How did this partnership come about? And what does it mean to see the artist community rally behind you on this initiative?
Walker's been awesome since the moment I met him. We met at some. I think we were doing the fair in Winston Salem in like 2021 or something, and he had no reason to talk to me, be nice to me, hang out with me, any of that stuff. But he was really nice, and he did take time, and he watched some of my set, and we saw each other kind of playing random county fairs, kind of over the next couple of years, and he just kind of became a friend and a mentor. And when you look at good people in music, he's up there right at the top. He's just as genuine as it gets. So when we were planning this event, he was the first ask, no brainer, and I'm very surprised he said yes, but also not surprised he said yes because he's just that kind of guy. So that was a really really cool thing for everybody there, and cool for me just to have somebody who has really had a lot of success in this business, show up and put on a heck of a show, and he really wanted to be there, and that just meant a lot. So that's that was very rewarding.
And what is something, either a piece of advice or something that you learned just from watching him that impacted you in the way that you navigate, whether it's music, business, life, just something that maybe you're like,
Yeah, he's really strong in his faith, always, not afraid to talk about it, and it just kind of handles his life with a whole lot of grace. I mean, he's got like 8 kids and is also a musician and also tours all the time, writing music, and he's still a dad first and is the family man first. And I think that's just it's a really high bar to kind of look up to and strive to.
that's dope. And with touring, that kind of leads into the next question. Continuing the theme of it being just a big year for you, you announced the Canadian leg of your To the Bar tour. What is something that you aim to create in your experience of a live show for a fan? What do you want them to feel when they're seeing a Cooper Allen show?
Yeah, pumped to get back to Canada. They're crazy in the best way. It's awesome. Great fans. um, but our show, it's always a party. That's kind of I cut my teeth playing college bars, in high school and in college, and when I moved here, just Broadway cover band sets. I just love performing, and I love making it a party no matter where you are. So that's kind of the philosophy we take at this show. It's a lot of high energy. We play our ballads. We play our kind of important, meaningful stuff, and we play the silly stuff. We're kind of all over the place, and I always say if you like my music, then you're going to really have a great time. If you don't know who I am, and even if you don't like my music, there's something in there for everybody.
Yeah, I like that. And crafting that connection is so important. And with building a tour, building a show, was there something you learned from the US leg of the tour that like, okay, I can do this a little differently, or how you want to approach it moving forward, going into Canada and seeing these awesome bands out there?
Yeah, I mean, you learn something every tour, and kind of every show. I think you can sort of take what goes well and improve on that, and take what maybe doesn't go quite as well and improve on that even more. I think something I always learn is just like it's it's not enough to just get up there and just play the songs. If they want to do that, they'll just listen to the record. It's not even enough to have a cool arrangement of the song that's like different. You really have to engage them. You really have to, have intentional transitions between songs. You got to have show moments where the band does their thing. You got to show moments where you do your thing, where you're all doing your thing. You got to have the improv moments that kind of feel real in there. Um, and I think I've just learned over the years, like I can't just stop a song, then talk, then play the next song. Song ends, talk, play the next song. It's like nobody wants to hear that. They want a show, and then they want to know that you put a lot of effort into that show. So we're slowly but surely kind of getting to that really cool spot of a cool production.
I think the detail like of that, of having this is what I want to do, between and knowing what you're doing every second, every minute really shines through into something that builds that community.
Yeah.
And you're also great at engaging your community online outside of the physical interaction of the show. How do you approach building your community? How did you approach it? And what would your advice be to an artist who's maybe struggling to build a community or searching for that community more so?
Yeah, it's hard. It was a lot harder, 7 years ago when I moved here than it is now in terms of just like online and what that all means. I hated social media with a passion. Didn't even have an Instagram in college. Barely went on Facebook. I thought it was all so stupid. Yeah, who cares what I do? And I don't really care what you do. But as kind of the years went on, it's like, no, this is how you get your art out there. This is the avenue to get your music to people that might want to listen to it. And more than ever, it's just like so part of the job. And if social media is not for everybody, but if you really want to be serious about it, you really you got to put some effort into it, and you got to try, and you got to post every day or every other day when you just don't feel like it, and you got to make it you as authentic as possible. And just because somebody's not naturally good at social media doesn't mean they can't have a huge social media following, because there's little pieces of the pie, little niches for everybody.
And going from like no Instagram to now amassing a huge community on the multiple platforms, what was something that was challenging in these early stages as you're just skyrocketing, as you're building this community up?
I think it was just like kind of keeping the head down and keeping on doing it. I remember like I had my first viral song on TikTok, on my standards, viral song on TikTok. And I just kind of thought that because that happened and because people love this song, that okay, now I'm good. I can, yeah, I still got to post, but I can kind of do whatever I want and just kind of float it out there. And these people that like that song are going to like this song and this song and this song. And that's just not necessarily the case. And not that that's not how people work, but just algorithms, all that stuff. It's a little bit tougher than that. So you always got to, I don't know. You always got to keep a dialogue with your fan base. So like, what are y'all wanting? What are y'all digging? Do you like this? Do you not like this? And you got to be ready to follow what they want to do.
And you've been great about that, sharing demos, lyrics, building that like almost one-to-one connection, even though we're on the phone, but it's like, it's a conversation almost. What's something that you've learned from your fans in that process?
I got no idea what they're gonna think ever. And it's awesome. It keeps it like really really fun and has made our catalog and our show so fun. But like, it might be my favorite song ever. I can't tell you how many times I've teased my favorite song ever and just nothing, just flop. And that's fine. You just kind of move on and you keep going and learn from it. But I think more than anything, it's they like when you're just yourself. They like when you sing about things you're actually going through, or if you know somebody who actually went through something, they can tell when it's real and when it's you, and they can tell when it's probably not the most authentic thing. Like I can't. Every time I try to sing a breakup song, nothing doesn't work because they don't buy it because I. Spent a year promoting my wedding song. And like, I'm not going through a breakup. So why would they? Why would they buy it?
Yeah, it's that authenticity, I think, is something that is just so important. And like they said, like I think they want this, but they want you, which is, why they are there to support you in the first place. And to wrap up our interview today, one question we'd like to ask is we talked about a bunch of great advice. You've given some great gems. What's maybe one piece of bad advice that you've heard in your career, whether it could be music related, life related, and then you're just like looking at it like that wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, gotten plenty of bad advice. I've given more bad advice. NFTs, that was bad advice. um, I mean, I think, and not that I've gotten this specific advice, and I'm fortunate that I have a team around me that does not buy into this. They've always wanted me to be me and fans first and all that stuff. Um, but there is always, once you kind of get in the music business a little bit, there's always the people that make you think you need X or Y or Z to kind of blow your career up. That might be a record label, or you need to be on the radio. You need all this stuff. You need to appeal to what is, the standard in whatever town you're in, whether it's Nashville, LA, New York. You got to get the industry on your side all the time. And you do. But I've found there have been times where I have, I guess, succumbed a little too much to that thinking and gotten away from myself. And I think the best way to do it is to marry both of those things and just be as hard nosed yourself and what you want to do and authentic to you. And if you do it long enough, if you try hard enough, and if you put a good thing out there that is you, then people will kind of adapt to you in time. And it's taken me a while to realize that.